y'all, welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and today we're going to talk about a book I decided to pick up based on the authors who blurbed it. If you are like me, you may be interested in like a cozy romance. Nothing that's too angsty, too high drama, not super plot in depth, but something that is just kind of light and airy, a palate cleanser. That is why I choose some of the authors that I choose. So this book right here, The Accidental Pinup by Daniel Jackson, is the book that I decided to choose based on the two authors that blurbed it. So this is Rivals Photographies are forced to collaborate on a body positive lingerie campaign, but they might have to readjust their focus when sparks fly. This is super cute. This is, again, a Rivals to Lovers romance that deals with photographers who are both out for this special campaign. Now, they're out for different reasons. The female main character, Cassie, is wanting to support her best friend, who is a lingerie designer, and she partners with her for the Buxom Boudoir, and she's wanting to make sure that her best friend's launch goes extremely well with this new company that she's working with. So she wants to do it not only to support her best friend, but also to get her name out there in the big industry. The male main character, whose name is Reed, he's always worked as her opposition, but they don't necessarily know each other. So he has no recollection of ever meeting Cassie, and all he knows is that he needs this particular contract to support the financial obligation that is his family, specifically his brother Russ. And so he's out for this campaign, and he works with the owner company more times than not. So he has somewhat of an advantage in this particular arena. Now, this book was blurbed by Pharaoh Roshan, who wrote The Dating Playbook. Pharaoh says, "The Accidental Pinup is packed with body positivity and irresistible banter. This sexy, empowering, entertaining read deserves a place on your bookshelf." And again, I met Pharaoh Roshan at Steamy LitCon. I'll put a picture here. Pharaoh Roshan definitely gives me the vibes of, I am looking for something that is soft, light, and airy, that has a romance, that has a little bit of tension, but not too much that it becomes the focus of the plot line, that you just want to also have a little brief of a discussion of race in workplace. And so that is why I can see Pharaoh Roshan supporting The Accidental Pinup, because this definitely centers around Cassie's journey in the photography industry and her not necessarily being picked for certain shoots because she is a Black woman. So these two do pair perfectly nicely. Again, sometimes you have it where the marketing team makes a blurb or puts something out there that doesn't really capture the book, or you don't feel that the authors that are on the back of the book necessarily align with this. But I 100% believe Pharaoh Roshan read and supports The Accidental Pinup. The second author that blurbed this book is, again, one of my favorites, Denise Williams, who was the author of The Fastest Way to Fall. Denise says, "The Accidental Pinup is the fun, charming rom-com you've been waiting for to sweep you off your feet. Cassie is a heroine to root for, and you'll want to make the unapologetically sexy selfie in while reading. Chemistry, humor, and joy are wrapped in sheer fabric and lace in this luscious debut." She definitely dropped some key hints and gems about this. Again, this is all surrounding a luxury lingerie line, and you get to be vividly placed into the point of, feeling body positivity, feeling luscious curves, and being able to show you are a woman. And it doesn't matter if you decide to wear your undergarments or you're fully clothed. You need to be respected. You are a place of empowerment, and there is money to be made when it comes to plus size sex positivity. So I think that, again, based on what Denise had to say, she's definitely in support of The Accidental Pinup. And again, love that it was chosen The Fastest Way to Fall, because this is my favorite of Denise's books. So as I mentioned, this is a Rivals to Lovers workplace romance between Cassie and Reed. Now, Cassie is our female main character, who is a plus size character that is really out to support her best friend. Her best friend is launching a lingerie company, and she is working with this huge designer brand. And she is wanting to support her friend not only as the photographer to encourage the launch, but also to get her name out there. Cassie has been overlooked for a ton of jobs, and she really wants to be able to break into the scene, and she wants to do so with her best friend, Dana. Now, opposing her would be Reed. Now, he is our main male character who typically takes jobs from Cassie without knowing. Now, they don't have any type of relationship. Reed has never known Cassie, but Cassie has always known Reed, simply because he has always gotten the jobs that she's wanted. And she believes it's because that he is a white male in the same industry, and he's got the advantage where she has to fight for everything that she does. But Reed really doesn't see it that way. He doesn't necessarily know his privilege, and he is out for this particular job, not only because he's worked with the company in the past, but he needs the money in order to support his family. Now, his brother has just come back in town, and his brother is very unresponsible, and there is a 10-year age gap between him and his brother, so he feels very responsible to take care of him and help him out financially. So in this, they have their own reasons for going out for this campaign. I will tell you that these characters are different from one another, again, based on a number of things. Reed is your cinnamon roll hero. He's very shy into himself. He only has one other friend whose name is James that he relies on. So he is somewhat introverted. He sees things in a black and white lens, and whereas Cassie is open and bubbly, she thinks outside of the lines. She lives her life in color. And she comes from a loving, supporting family that has financial means, whereas Reed is kind of the opposite in his family dynamic. As I've already told you, his brother Russ is unresponsible, and his parents are very aloof, do not necessarily, haven't supported their children for many, many years, and there is a strange relationship, right? So these dynamics obviously play a big part of who they are and how they navigate through the world. In this book, I loved those soft touches. As I mentioned, when it comes to Danielle Jackson, because I feel like she is very aligned with Pharaoh Roshan and Denise Williams, you can see that they lightly touch on deeper topics, but not so much that it's in your face and that it deters you away from reading. It is a very soft approach at real discussion. And in this, I love that Danielle took the approach of talking about how A, she was passed over for jobs because she was a Black woman. B, she talked about how her interest in photography and why she wanted to support her best friend is because her best friend is focusing on body positivity in the lingerie industry. Obviously, we know that to be a model, especially when it comes to undergarments, most people think of slim white figures in terms of the standard of beauty, but she talks about how she focuses on light and how light plays with the melanin in skin and how she wants to support plus size Black and brown women. And that's her reasoning for supporting this shoot and the work that she does. I love that she also, this book is also very feminine focused, right? So you have a great collective of best friends who work well with each other but have their own dynamics and personalities. Although I knew what the third act breakup was going to be, I didn't feel any anxiety building up to it. I was a little concerned about how Reed was going to handle it, but I'm going to tell you, he handled it beautifully. I was frustrated at one point in the book. I thought that he wasn't going to do enough groveling and that Cassie was going to accept him back, just off of a whim because she loved him, and it wasn't going to be the resolve. But baby, when I tell you that this man went above and beyond in his apology, I was blown away. And then I turned around and was mad at Cassie because she still wanted more. And I was like, girl, what more could he give you? But being Reed, he gave her more. This man is silent but deadly. The man knows how to woo a woman. He knows, when he is wrong, but he also isn't afraid to say that he learns from his woman and that he, trusts and believes in her vision and that he has many things to learn from her. I think that is a beautiful relationship and dynamics, specifically between two photographers. They are each other's muse. They, are constantly photographing one another. It was just a beautiful book to be able to experience. And again, I would say if you are a fan of like something light, cozy, but definitely has touches of deeper topics that talks about body positivity, talks about race relations, but also talks about the beauty of being a love story and finding that journey amongst friends and becoming family. Definitely consider picking up The Accidental Pinup by Daniel Jackson.